With the upcoming release of the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, this official prequel comic book becomes essential reading for all Marvel fans. This MCU canon comic book gives us our first glimpse into the origin story of the Fantastic Four and what it means to stick together as a family. If you're watching this before Fantastic Four First Steps, then let me know how excited you are to finally see this superpowered family join the MCU. Or if you're watching this after Fantastic Four First Steps, then was the film any good? Let me know what you think in the comments. But let's not waste any more time as we recap the official prequel to Fantastic Four First Steps. Let's go. This comic kicks off with a really cool twist. It's framed as if it were published within the Marvel Universe, created by the Future Foundation. So from the jump, it feels like an in-world historical document, a dramatized account of the Fantastic Four's earliest days, not just after their powers, but their first real test as a team. At this point, the Fantastic Four have already become famous. The world watched them leave Earth as brilliant pioneers. Reed Richards, Susan Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm. And the world definitely noticed when they came back transformed. Their journey into space should have been their greatest triumph, but instead, it was the beginning of something they never expected. After being exposed to a mysterious burst of celestial radiation, they returned changed, gifted, maybe even cursed, but they were no longer just explorers. They had become something fantastic. Now back on Earth, they're kept in quarantine inside a sleek facility, Building Q, part of a larger complex in Rocket City, known as the Celestial Cradle. The media is camped outside, the public is watching, and inside, the team is going stir crazy. Johnny Storm is visibly restless. He wants out. He's itching to feel free again. Sue Storm pokes at Reed, sarcastically saying, "Well, you'll leave when Dr. Richard says it's time." And Reed, completely oblivious to the sarcasm, just confirms, yeah, they'll leave when he decides. Ben Grimm is absolutely fed up. He has now been transformed into this permanent new form. He's physically uncomfortable, emotionally raw, and just barely holding it together. In a moment of frustration, he smashes Kirby, a robotic assistant whose name stands for Kinetic Type Experimental Robot Biomimetrics Integrated Electronics. It's classic Ben. Big heart, short fuse. Johnny, meanwhile, sulks and confesses that he's, well, kind of depressed. He doesn't know what his life means anymore. He can light himself on fire, sure. But what's he supposed to do now? Ben brushes it off like typical dramatics, but their argument escalates fast. Johnny ignites. Ben flexes. They're ready to brawl. Reed has to physically stretch himself to contain the chaos, literally wrapping his elastic arms around both of them to stop the fight. It's almost like trying to parent two rowdy kids. He turns to Sue for backup, but she's already moved on. She's scanning something, and she's picking up signs of trouble. But before she shares what it is, she hits the team with a little discipline. She creates invisible force fields around their heads, just enough to block off their oxygen and snap them out of their tantrum. It's a moment that really shows just how powerful Sue Storm already is, and how much she's stepping up as the team's emotional compass. She tells them to stop acting like children, and drops the news. There's trouble going down in Manhattan. So then we cut to some massive disruption in Manhattan. We see Mole Man, aka Harvey Elder, rise from beneath the streets with terrifying machinery and an army of monstrous moloids. He's had enough of the surface world. For far too long, they have tread and built and dug into the world below, into his world, and he tells them to ready themselves for war. Reed finally makes the call. Enough quarantine. The team suits up, climbs into the Fantastic Car, and launches into the sky. As they fly towards New York, they're not just facing danger, they're flying straight into destiny. The media watches in awe, wondering, what are they thinking at this moment? Surely it's thoughts of selfless scientific heroism. The Future Foundation gives a quote from Reed Richards that confirms that the Baxter Building's construction somehow disturbed the underground world of subterranean, and he never even knew it existed until now. He compares it to stepping on a hornet's nest, unknowingly poking at something far bigger. When the team arrives at the crater in Manhattan, they're greeted like celebrities. Crowds cheer, cameras flash, and then, unexpected to all, Giganto emerges. This massive towering beast barrels out from beneath the earth and attacks. The team has no strategy, no battlefield communication, and zero combat experience together. But Ben doesn't care. He charges in headfirst with a thunderous yell. It's clobbering time! Johnny, after taking a moment to laugh at Ben Grimm's ridiculous catchphrase, is told to join the fray by Sue. At first he hesitates as he's worried the flames will freak people out, but Reed doubles down and tells him to join. Johnny bursts into flames, flying directly into the fray as Reed tries to keep things coordinated. "Flame on!" Johnny shouts, and for the first time, the iconic catchphrases hit the page. The three of them fight hard to bring the monster down while Sue protects the public as best she can. But in the end, it's Sue who ends the battle. Not with strength, but with smarts. She uses her invisible force fields to block Giganto's airflow, slowly suffocating the creature until it passes out. Just when it seems like the fight is over, the real twist hits. While the team was distracted by Giganto, Mole Man used his machines to literally drag the Pan Am building underground, turning it and everyone inside into hostages. It's a full-on invasion. We then see a flashback. We learn that Mole Man once tried to warn everyone to stop digging, fearing they would eventually destroy Subterranean. His warnings were ignored. Now, after a tragedy below ground, he rallies his people, vowing never to allow his world to be at risk again. The Fantastic Four leap into the hole, plunging deep into Subterranean, and witness firsthand the underground civilization. And this, according to the narrator, is where the true origin story begins. Not in space, not with powers, but right here, in the decision to become heroes. Inside Subterranean, Reed goes for Mole Man. Johnny protects civilians. Ben fights his way through a horde of Subterranean civilians and Moloids. Sue is forced to shield herself from an aggressive pregnant woman wielding a weapon, and that's what shifts the tone. Mole Man sees Sue trying to safely contain the pregnant woman of his world, and demands they let her go. Reed offers Mole Man a deal: surrender, and they let her go and the violence stops. Mole Man agrees. He declares himself a political prisoner, ordering his people to not despair and to continue their great work. "We build the foundations of the future," he tells them. The message is clear. Subterranean isn't just a threat, it's a society. These are people with real grievances and real purpose. Mole Man keeps shouting his message: power to the people, all people, even underground. But then something quieter happens. Back on the surface, Mole Man is locked up and handcuffed, and it's at this time that he has a heart-to-heart with Sue Storm. He tells her that he actually worked alongside her grandfather, Professor J.F. Storm, and he was a great teacher. Sue seems surprised that he studied particle physics, and Mole Man's a little insulted by that. In fact, he didn't study with her grandfather. He worked at the campus physical plant, and old John taught the workers how to organize, how to rally people, taught him how to be a leader. Sue reflects on Mole Man's work on Subterranean. He built an entire city, and it's a shame he threw it all away in order to wage a war. Mole Man is quick to reply and let her know that he didn't just build tunnels or a city, he built a civilization, a whole society. Sue reflects on that. She asks Mole Man what he really wants, and he answers plainly. Subterranean is a principality. He wants recognition. He wants prosperity. He wants the right to exist. With that, the comic ends. Not with a bang, but with a spark. The spark of empathy, of something bigger. Not just powers, not just fights, but harmony. For all of humanity, man and Moloid alike. And that's what makes Fantastic Four First Step such a powerful prequel. It's not just a warm-up to the movie, it's a mission statement. It introduces the team dynamics, sets up their world, and gives us our first taste of MCU antagonist Mole Man, who is already confirmed to be played by Paul Walter Hauser in the upcoming film. And while Galactus and Silver Surfer are looming on the horizon, this story reminds us the Fantastic Four had to learn how to be a family. This was just their first step. And if you're still craving more Marvel content just like this, then make sure to hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and check out the rest of my channel where I upload content just like this every single week. But for the meantime, peace, peace, peace.